interviewed by the National Investigations Bureau for causing fear and panic, the minister told us that containers have been missing, or that they have been stolen, or that they disappeared from the port. Everyone thought the story sounded awkward for a port that is fully automated and one that is one of the best in Africa. Today we woke up to hear from the same minister that the containers have been found. It sounds like Pilolo. We discussed the details. Also, CJ Tokono is complaining about the happenings at the committee. They won't let her husband in. They won't let her daughter in. And they will not hold down proceedings because of a writ of injunction. She has sued and the action will be heard tomorrow. Now, CJ Tokono does not even want to participate in an in-camera secret hearing because she does not trust the system. Might she have a case? Lawyer Bafo will be in the studio to help us understand all what is happening. Honorable Sami Okujeto Ablakwa has had some pressure on him to resign following the fact that the Vice President, Jenano Pukwajeman, flew back to Ghana in a luxurious jet after medical treatment abroad. Okujeto, instead of apologizing, has fed Ghanaians with a scandal in Ghana's embassy in the United States. We hear you, Honorable Minister, but will you apologize for misspeaking during the days in opposition? Also, this weekend has seen two major social media trends. The first is Godfrey Dame versus Stadio Sori on one hand, and the second one is even more serious. One Dr. Ann Sansa Delhi. Is she really a doctor? Who does she work for? And why has she disenabled all her social media handles following the breakout of the information? Is it a case of things fall apart? A full discussion on all of these matters tonight on Good Evening Ghana. Welcome aboard.
And then Mehunu said the Minister for Foreign Affairs, people are throwing him. People are calling for his resignation. I would say, Munyaino. Munyaino. So could you should resign? Munyaino. On one cassa to them one, ni tibwa be boneful. So no one cassa to them one, ni tibwa be boneful. Ye mamma no sem yet time wo maimu. Ye mamma no sem yet time wo maimu. And I'm a penny rent private jet, and I go for private jet, I go for private jet, and I was like a man for first class, or so it's not business class. Dear uncle. Dear uncle. And I send this in power. Nothing my penny prim will be a private jet. Me may resign. You are still in office. You are still in office. So the book is to a blocker. Many said him go as your account. More tibwa and noonday. Mr. Money and Fabi be a young man, you say, Miss Sow, my Ghana. And you know, crow man in this car. But some reason till Miss also your boy, your mum, penny home by. He is the soul of Ghana. I would never and never accept, say, so man, penny John Draman, Mama, to coin. No man wa kwenya se betimi high private jet amana make se yake anu tumi enya dem bi. The seat of government yemo bu kakra emrem. Now man penalty first class ya ka to say na akwa ama ye ni ama na epe. Ama be president so te first class no boko. Ye ni sa ama na epe. Ye di sika ene isika. How you enter and it's a quimby for Sebejo Aquaba. And on for business class and on for first class. Oman penalty be a first class. No co president or aeroplane AC, a bedebuno. Or better cheska for bromine about my name. Yantias, ye disika, ye the num. It will be a what on swadano, what the num and the shot nano, now the actionum, a free swim. I'll resign, and no, ne. What would you talk about? And no, ne. And I know, say, you least expect to say, the person for private jet of my Ghana, and in part open us them to a call. yen hwe ya man yosem ne ye ye ya ma na ye time e lose as the school na ye call se bi fa so kra ni so ya man yosem na ye no ye ma school no enim dem the school no direct ye say ampa mo biemu sampa ni po abo masters wo po doctorate wo wi okuta degree. There should be a difference between one and no. And not just stop this street and gutter politics. No. Naka Professor Jenya naka obano kana homfa no komfa de ofa trotramra. Nim guasema yenyina. Let's know how. Ye nima de be ye amanyosem. Nima bi won ma ye mfa nye. Almost 2 million Ghana cedis. 2 million Ghana cedis. It's because we are Ghana. It's a vice versa. People say 2 million Ghana cedis. A better topic. We are discussing it. But because of some of the attitude of all some who could to Ablakwa and some NDC for me in opposition, because of Amanyo some politics. I said, yeah, me bonia, and the gun was a Kewakwada, Kichianaka. But my moment to say a bonny, Pessamu community, and a dear jabber be an AGA. Yamu and Yamabo Yankupon, we in Yamabo. And every maker say, we will continue to learn. We will continue to learn every day on our way. I know so now could talk like when you another opportunity. That campaign no one some time ago when you be with that. You spoke even more than the flag bearer of your party. And none of us some George the baby. In the first budget of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, see a new communication service tax and fair from our attack the Mahama. Who are you? President, I'm reading the first budget, we communication service tax and that's who go and attack him. Who are you, Sam George? Who are you? Sabre ni paka, and this is for me mani panka. Trenia who was so for Muma. But because I'm on your Samuntino, hey, who are you to attack your mama? Go and attack your mama. Sam George, communication service tax. President Mama, I had the first budget when you film, go and attack him. Who made me attack President Mama? Go and attack him.
We don't remember because really many meetings as I indicated are held and I will not remember at all.
So you are on the board.
The provision is 38(1)A. Even though the letter wrote 38A, the provision should have been 38(1)A.
The Honorable Abdakwa, kindly give me your laws. The 38 doesn't have a 1, with all respect. Learned Deputy Attorney General. The Section 38 of Act 663 has no 1. It's just a 38ABC. So, I have a copy here, and I'll share mine with you. And Chairman, may I request that he has a copy of the mandate agreement. I'd like to have your copy for my purposes. Section 38 doesn't have a 1.
Mr. Chairman, the Honorable Member
38A and B.
Mr. Chairman, the law has been amended, Mr. Chairman. And I think that you're not, this house amended the law. So there's now a Section 38(1) and a Section 38(2). And I have the consolidated version because I'm a member of the PPA board. So you are misleading my very good friend. So, Mr. Chairman, that is why I said that the law was amended way back in 2016. It was amended in 2016 before this letter was written. So I have the current one, and I can give the House a copy.
Section 38, the Public Procurement Amendment of 2016. Is there a further amendment to the 2016?
Mr. Chairman,
no, let him answer.
No, Mr. Chairman, it is the same one which incorporated a subsection 2. So the law, Section 38 of Act 663 now has 2 provisions, Section 38(1) and Section 38(2). So, Mr. Chairman, I think that, and that was before, most importantly, that was before the letter was written. So I'm right in saying that the provisions have been 38.1. And I have the
Section 38.1.
Yes, 38.1A. So I have the consolidated version.
Just read your act title. Is it Act 914? I have no difficulty conceding.
Yes.
I'm holding Act 914.
Yes.
I see a 38 in it. I don't see a 1. It has heading of parts 7 of Act 633 amended. So just share that with me to guide me. I have no difficulty conceding to you.
Right.
I have Act 914. Which act are you referring to? The number. Just give me your number, act number, as amended.
So Act 914, amended.
You are also referring to Act 914.
Yes, but the point I'm making is that Act 914 introduced an amendment which inserted a further subsection 2 into section 38. And therefore, section 38 of Act 63 should be construed to have 2.
I'm fine. You are Attorney General. You are privy to it. Give me the date of gazette of the one you are holding. I have 12 May 2016. So just share yours with me.
The Chairman is a consolidated Act 63, and in it, you see that
I concede to you. You recall, I concede to you.
I think many youths are discouraged by corruption, nepotism, and lack of support in the system. How can we as young people rise above this and still succeed? My second question. You've balanced politics, honorable, and business quite uniquely. What advice do you have for young people who want to make an impact in both fields without losing focus? Thank you.
Nepotism, favoritism is what is killing this country. No doubt about it. You know, recently in the news, you hear Agrada and Sami Jemfi. You know, if I were the president, I'll fire Sami Jemfi right away, not even a second, because the evidence is clear. I don't need to go and do any investigation to serve as a deterrent. Young men and women complete their university education, they did their national services, and even national service, you have to pay to get a good company to work with. If you don't know a politician, you cannot even do your national service. All these things are impeding progress, and because of that, because of nepotism, we always employ square pegs in a round hole. So it's a canker that we need to solve or resolve. So I'm glad you brought it up. And you also questioned about business and politics.
Tonight on the edition of Good Evening Ghana, we ask, should Minister John Jinapor be interviewed by the National Investigations Bureau for causing fear and panic? The minister told us that containers have been missing, or that they have been stolen, or that they disappeared from the port. Everyone thought the story sounded awkward for a port that is fully automated and one that is one of the best in Africa. Today we woke up to hear from the same minister that the containers have been found. It sounds like Pilolo. We discuss the details. Also, CJ Tokono is complaining about the happenings at the committee. They won't let her husband in. They won't let her daughter in. And they will not hold down proceedings because of a writ of injunction. She has sued and the action will be heard tomorrow. Now, CJ Tokono does not even want to participate in an in-camera secret hearing because she does not trust the system. Might she have a case? Lawyer Bafo will be in the studio to help us understand all what is happening. Honorable Sami Okujeto Ablakwa has had some pressure on him to resign following the fact that the Vice President, Jenano Pukwajeman, flew back to Ghana in a luxurious jet after medical treatment abroad. Okujeto, instead of apologizing, has fed Ghanaians with a scandal in Ghana's embassy in the United States. We hear you, Honorable Minister, but will you apologize for misspeaking during the days in opposition? Also, this weekend has seen two major social media trends. The first is Godfrey Dame versus Stadio Sorry on one hand, and the second one is even more serious. One Dr. Anne Sansa-Deli. Is she really a doctor? Who does she work for? And why has she disabled all her social media handles following the breakout of the information? Is it a case of things fall apart? A full discussion on all of these matters tonight on Good Evening Ghana. Welcome aboard. Tonight on the edition of Good Evening Ghana, we ask, should Minister John Jinapor be interviewed by the National Investigations Bureau for causing fear and panic? The minister told us that containers have been missing, or that they have been stolen, or that they disappeared from the port. Everyone thought the story sounded awkward for a port that is fully automated and one that is one of the best in Africa. Today we woke up to hear from the same minister that the containers have been found. It sounds like Pilolo. We discuss the details. Also, CJ Tokono is complaining about the happenings at the committee. They won't let her husband in. They won't let her daughter in. And they will not hold down proceedings because of a writ of injunction. She has sued and the action will be heard tomorrow. Now, CJ Tokono does not even want to participate in an in-camera secret hearing because she does not trust the system. Might she have a case? Lawyer Bafo will be in the studio to help us understand all what is happening. Honorable Sami Okujeto Ablakwa has had some pressure on him to resign following the fact that the Vice President, Jenano Poku-Agyemang, flew back to Ghana in a luxurious jet after medical treatment abroad. Okujeto, instead of apologizing, has fed Ghanaians with a scandal in Ghana's embassy in the United States. We hear you, Honorable Minister, but will you apologize for misspeaking during the days in opposition? Also, this weekend has seen two major social media trends. The first is Godfrey Dame versus Stadio Sorry on one hand, and the second one is even more serious. One Dr. Anne Sansa-Deli. Is she really a doctor? Who does she work for? And why has she disabled all her social media handles following the breakout of the information? Is it a case of things fall apart? A full discussion on all of these matters tonight on Good Evening Ghana. Welcome aboard. Good evening, welcome to the show. It's 27 minutes to the top of the hour, 10 o'clock, and what a show we have tonight. Well, we are staying with the top story. Chairman Wontumi Enchi Bosiako, as I call him, is still within the four walls of Iyoko and has not yet been released. The story is quite interesting and to some extent even bizarre because Chairman Wontumi was arrested after he thought that he had finished his dealings today with the Criminal Investigations Department that had invited him yesterday, and they had spoken to him and asked him to come again today. When he showed up today, they took his statement and noted a few things, and he left. He actually even parted with his lawyers, according to the story that we have. And then he was on his way to the airport to catch a flight to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. And then, bam, police cars surrounded him and said, come here, we are taking you to Yoko. We don't care about what CID is doing. And so he's still in Yoko. We have the latest for you. We're going to share with you. Our reporters are all over. And then those of you who have been watching social media have seen it. Also tonight, we're going to talk about the Chief Justice matter. Tomorrow, the Supreme Court has an opportunity for a great showdown. The Chief Justice is arguing that everything that's happening at the committee has been unfair to her and is illegal and is unreasonable. And so she has filed a writ in persona, the first writ that has been filed by her person following all of the incidents of their supposed impeachment. She's asking the court to make a few decisions. She's saying, first of all, that she should be apprised of what went into the processes to determine that a prima facie case had been made against her on all the 3 petitions? Or, she asked, was the prima facie made against her on 1 or 2 of the petitions only? She also says that the petitions are also skewed against her because one of the principal petitioners, Daniel Ofori, has been asked not to, or has been allowed not to come to the committee to speak. Typically, when you send a petition and the petition is being heard, you, the petitioner, you come there and attest to the things that you have deposed to in the petition. And then lawyers for Tokono will have the opportunity to cross-examine her. Somehow, the committee has agreed that Daniel Ofori, the petitioner, need not appear before the commission. Justice Tokono is completely mortified by these things, and then she has filed a writ. She's also asking Justice Gabriel Poaman to look at the side of morality and make a determination that he cannot properly, given all the matters that Tokono has deposed to represent the committee by chairing it. So all of these matters are coming before the Supreme Court tomorrow. Justice Tokono is also arguing that she does not want an in-camera hearing. Given what she's seen already, she thinks that an in-camera hearing will be skewed against her. The secrecy of the hearing, she thinks, will be made illegal. And so she's asking the Supreme Court to change it and allow a public hearing live on television, live on radio, and live online, that every Ghanaian can see what kind of questions she is being asked, and every Ghanaian can see what are the matters that are so weighty that have to result in the removal of the Chief Justice. We all think that this hearing must be public, but the Supreme Court has the say on this matter. Tomorrow, they'll be doing that. Lawyer Bafo is in the studio to take us through all of that in great detail. Also tonight, have the containers come back? Did they fly away? Did they come back? What happened to the containers? Minister John Jinapor told us that the containers have flown away, almost alleging that there was corruption on the part of the MPP. The MPP Managing Director, Mr. Dubik Mahama, was on radio in the spree of interviews where he said that those containers are still at the port and that the containers cannot run away. Some people vilified him, some said this, some said that. Today, we woke up to a graphic front page story where John Jinapor says that he has found everything. Parliament is asking Jinapor to come into Parliament and explain to them why he's found it. By the way, Parliament opened today, and congratulations to all the MPs and the Speaker as well. Also, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa had been under pressure this weekend, as you saw in our promo. They said he should resign because he said he will resign if a president or a vice president flies a luxurious private jet. The circumstances of the arrival of Nana Akufo-Addo excited every Ghanaian that our vice president is back in town. But Okudzeto then has to take the fall for it. I do not think that she should resign. We do not think she should resign, but it is a way to teach politicians that you have to learn how to talk and how not to talk in opposition. Sam George is also on the cards. Did he actually use a car that is registered with red number? That is to say, a registration plate, a DV registration plate, as a minister to a public function? Did he really do that? We're going to explore that also. And then just as we're coming to the studio, the story about the lady doctor, or is she not a doctor, and Sansa Delhi got even more interesting because this evening, the government of John Dramani Mahama has appointed her as a board member of the National Health Insurance. Whoa! That's something. That's really something. And we're going to be dealing with this for days, isn't it? Days, not weeks. That's all coming up on Good Evening Ghana tonight. We have an exciting interview. I'm going to tell you about the new book that I got over the weekend, and I'll tell you a story about what happened over the weekend. It's entitled The 10 Types of Human. I'll lead you into it, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm very excited to be here. It's 20 minutes to the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. We have so much brewing. This is Good Evening Ghana. Welcome to the show.
God does not have anything of value that me, I will attack, apart from his wife. Beautiful woman. I like her. Lady. That's the only valuable thing that Paul has. So this man takes my photo, puts it on TV. I'll come back to this thing. Puts it on TV. Hey, plus. What's a young amount? 250. He said a lot. And this Sika that you are talking about, you say you're MPP. The money is being given to parliamentarians. So why are you not talking about the MPP parliamentarians? Okay. See me, I'm street and I'm so bad. Yeah. When he did that thing, I didn't respond. I just left him. Then on Monday, and Paul, listen carefully. I started waste management must be decentralized. Because it is Zuma who owns Metro TV. So if you use Metro TV to do that one. And after he did all of that, I started waste management must be decentralized because I wanted to attack his boss, Zoom Lion. And I spent time You see where all the youth employment issues are going? Yeah, me, I will have time. Yeah. Me, I will deal with you. His boss called me. Look, Zumayon, he called me so many times I was not picking his phone. He called me. Everybody in this country was calling me. Zumayon wants to talk to you. I was not picking. And Paul, ask your boss that the time he met me, what happened? Me, I won't sue you for defamation by your boss. You see, I've stopped the waste management. You see, I've stopped. Because his boss paid me for his misbehavior on Metro TV. Your boss paid me.
How much? Because the way you're saying paid,
yeah, good money to stop writing about him on social media. I'm telling you, this is Kwame A+. Me, really? I'm a brutal guy.
I am truly disappointed. A+ is a brethren of mine. I don't know how to handle this, but I will handle it. I am utterly disappointed. This guy is nothing but a blackmailer. A dirty blackmailer. Jesus. So you are no longer fighting for the people, you are fighting your own battles, blackmailing people. Hi. So the decentralization of the waste management team that he was talking about, he did not mean it. He was only doing it to blackmail a certain guy who he knew will finally run back to him, pay him money, which he will selfishly push into his pocket and forget. You are blackmailing people so that you'll get a certain attention. This guy does not deserve to be an MP. Nobody deserves to be an MP, my brother, my sister. If their pension is blackmail. Paul Aduma actually hurt you. You were angry. As a lawmaker who believes in the law, what should you do? You are in parliament to make laws for the people. You decide to be unlawful, to go out there and fight your battle on the streets by blackmailing somebody's business. Now the person comes to you and pays you. You are not even ashamed of taking the money. This is a bribe taker who, my brother, my sister, should be impeached immediately from parliament. I'm disappointed in A+. I'm truly disappointed. No, we can't allow this. If an MP, my brother, my sister, can tell you that he was on a certain agenda, and the agenda was not supposed to benefit the people of Ghana, but himself, he became unlawful so that he would be able to get his own back. I hope you know what that means. I am most disappointed. In fact, I am so disappointed. Maybe I need to write to the Speaker of Parliament and draw his attention to this publication. I'm waiting for the day that I'll be told that it is a fake publication, it's not true, and that A+ didn't say this. Then I will say, yes, bro, I knew you would not say this.
Welcome back to the show, and let's get onto the touch screen quickly so that we can get started, isn't it? Okay. Well. Okay, let me start with the airport story, then I'll come to Manasseh, isn't it? So, viewers, I'm sure you're tired of this. So, I'm missing something, my phone. 1 minute, let me grab it. Sorry. and the other thing is that I need my reading glasses, which I left it in the office. When I say the office, just around, don't worry. So, viewers, over the weekend, as you noticed on Thursday, we're not live. Over the weekend, I traveled abroad to the United Kingdom, as I do sometimes. And I was coming back on the flight on Sunday, isn't it? So, you know, these days, some of the flights have internet, so you can use the internet. So I was using the internet, and I just kept getting text messages. Are you on the flight to Accra? I said, yes. They said, be careful, because is it BNI, NIB? National Security want to pick you up at the airport like Kwabena Edubuahi, same style. I said, about what? They said, well, we don't know, but I got it from 2 people. Then somebody who was on the flight, who was also, I think, using the internet, I think he texted his people and said I was on the flight with him. He came to me, to my seat, and said, Charlie, I hear that they want to pick you up when you arrive at the airport. I'm not sure what it's about. I said, I don't know. He said, well, that's what I was told, so be careful. I said, well, but how careful can I be? So we came on, and as soon as I got off the plane, calls started coming. They want to arrest you. BNI says you talk too much. I don't know whether it's BNI or it's NIB or it's National Security, but everyone seems to say National Security. They say you talk too much. And it's not even by the important people. Some of the middle-level people think that they should teach you a lesson, and you sit on TV and every day you're talking about Kwabena Edubuahi, and every day you're talking about this, you're talking about this. and then DC has come to power, and you won't stop. That's your foolish program, and you are still talking, and they'll deal with you. By the time John Mahama gets to hear that they've arrested you, you've been there for a day or so, and then you would learn a lesson, something. So I arrived, and I got into the terminal, and I thought, I think I observed some movements. So one of the guys called me and said, "Are you at the airport?" I said, "I'm at the airport." He said, "But what are you doing?" I said, "I'm waiting for my luggage." And I had quite a bit of luggage because I had brought in stuff we are setting up a podcast studio. So I brought in stuff for that, cameras, tripods, and all of that. So quite a big luggage. Many luggages. I was waiting for. He said, "No, don't wait for your luggage. Leave the airport." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, leave. So I called my guy. I said, "Charlie, let's go." So I said, "Where should I go?" He said, "Go home." I said, "But how?" They said, "Go home and come for your luggage later. Just leave the airport." This is Sunday night, Kotoka International Airport. So I left the airport, and then I went to somebody I knew at Burma camp, one of the important people. So he said, but what are you coming to do? I said, well, they said they're going to arrest me, so maybe they should arrest me in your house. And then we were chatting, and he said, let me check. He did some checks, 1 or 2. I said, oh, wow. But when you were leaving the airport, how did you drive out? I said, I drove out this way. He said, oh, these are people, eh? That's what he said, these are people, eh? These are people, eh? These are people, eh? And I said, well, it's not from, I heard that it's not from the top. It's from the middle people who have been told by somebody in America or something that you should catch this guy and teach him a lesson. He's such a fool. Every day he's talking. Look at what he's done with the Kwabena Dubois case, to the point where now people think that the guy should not even be prosecuted. He sits on TV, and people are allowing him in Ghana there to be sitting on TV and talking rubbish. I said, oh, wow. So that was my story for Sunday. So then I got out, blah, blah, blah. Later on, the luggage came. So I asked the first person who told me that, so what shouldn't I do? What should I do? He said, don't travel anytime soon. This is what they want to do. They want to create a spectacle of you, put you in handcuffs, same as Kwabena Dubois. And then everybody will see, there will be videos, you have been arrested, and then somehow internationally, all the people will see the video and think that you've done something wrong. By the time you're explaining to them, you do a lot of international things. We're in the process of completing a second book, and we are working with international people for that. Whilst I was away, we discussed it. The book is entitled, oh no, let me not say it now. Let me not say it now. It's coming. We are doing a second book. So he said, this is what they want to do, is shut you up and all that. And final on Saturday, Paris Saint-Germain and the Inter Milan. I'm going on Thursday. Say, no, don't go. When you are going, they may let you go. But when you are coming, when are you coming back? I said, if I go on Saturday, I'll come back on Monday. He said, when you are coming back, I'll go on Thursday and come back on Monday. And he said, when you are coming back, they will do that. So you don't travel for now. Make sure you've spoken to important people in the government. Tell them that you are traveling, that let them know about it. Because the top people may not know. It is the people who they want to teach you a lesson, all those kinds of boys. So that was my experience on Sunday. So I got home, relaxed, 11 o'clock. So when I'm driving on a Monday, when I was driving, I see some car that I turn, I look, and shadow is there, balance then. Oh, Ghana, my happy home. Why are people like that? Can't they do that? They always have to come and arrest somebody, and they arrest. Really? Anyway, that's the story. I wanted Manasseh Azuri's photograph here. Where is it? Yeah, I got it. Is it gone? It's going to come. Yes. So I was very excited to see this. You know, my friend Manasseh Azuri, this is just too lovely. Manasseh is in a pocket square, a suit, and a bow tie. Oh, I love this, man. America has ways of changing people, and I love it. Manasseh is dressing like this. It means that a lot is changing. A lot is changing. These are people who despise this kind of, as soon as you are dressed like this, they hate you. They think that you're a thief. Manasseh, have you become corrupt? Because this is the dressing of corruption people. Have you also become corrupt? As soon as you wear suit, they think you are corrupt. That's their mind. Everybody has to dress like them. But I'm happy what America is doing to Manasseh. Beautiful. Not that we don't like wearing our kente and our smoking. We do all that. But that a person dresses in suits every day, it doesn't mean that he is a thief or is corrupt. And I love what I'm seeing. Congratulations, my dear brother. Manasseh, was he doing a wedding or something? This is just beautiful. In addition to putting on the suit, he will put away the cameras in his pocket, the camera at the back of his ear, the camera of his pen, and just do the interview, the story, and the story. That's about it. Not hoping to film somebody and film this, and I catch you. All of that hopefully will end. Congratulations to Manasseh Azuri. I think that he's looking very, very good in this one. And I like the way he put the photo up on social media, because he himself felt that, oh, this is good. And I'm congratulating him for it. So he may not be watching. He's in America. His afternoon he's in a lecture or he's teaching somewhere. Tell him that I was talking about him on television, and I said that I really love his outfit. When he's coming, Manasseh, when you're coming by me in the podcast square, I like this. I don't have a pocket square like that. I really like it. Please, when I come in, get me one pocket. I love his shoes, man. Have you seen it? Oh, Manasseh Azuri. Beautiful, beautiful. Please tell him, Suleiman Brahma, if you are not watching and you see this video, tell Manasseh that I said, I beg, the pocket square, I want one when he's coming. I like the color. It's a very unique color. It's really beautiful. Okay, that's it for Manasseh Azuri. Let's now turn to, you want me to do this first? Let's go to Wontumi straight, yes. So the story is that yesterday, Chairman Wontumi went to CID, Criminal Investigations Department. You remember on Friday, after the arrest of the infamous and dastardly arrest of Adenta Kumi in his home at 6 a.m., and after that, whilst we were still dealing with that story, we were told that people have gone to Chairman Wontumi's gate in Kumasi in his home, and they were forcibly trying to enter the gate so that they go and arrest him. Chairman Wontumi told people that he already has an appointment with the CID people on Monday, and that he's preparing to come to Accra for that appointment. He doesn't know why they're coming to arrest him. Anyway, that story died. Now today, yesterday, Chairman Wontumi went to the CID. He was there for several hours answering questions. He's been cautioned on a few charges, mining without license, mining in river bodies. Basically, he's been charged with 3 counts of what we call galamsey. And that's what he has to deal with now if the prosecution were to begin. Today, he was required to report to the CID again, which he obliged. After going to the CID and signing his documents and leaving, he parted company with his lawyer on his way that he was going back to Kumasi, and then he'll come the next day that the CID is looking for him towards the prosecution whenever it starts. As soon as he got out, there was a James Bond movie. Do you have the videos so that we can show the viewers? Yeah, I'm guessing they have the videos, and then we can show the viewers the videos of there you go. Do you want me to talk over it? There you go. These are the videos of the arrest of Chairman Wontumi. For those of you who are seeing it for the first time, these videos are from Asasi radios, several radio stations across. This is how they picked him up, and they sent him to the Iyoko headquarters. It was quite brash and quite brutal. This is a man who is under the investigations of the Criminal Investigations Department. Somehow, Iyoko is also saying that they needed him, and Iyoko did not invite him. They actually crossed his car, and then, the guy is with CID, so they could have told CID that when Wontumi comes in there, tell him that Iyoko is looking for him. Of course, multiple state agencies can be investigating one individual for different things or even the same thing. A lot of these party supporters were quite agitated about the way this arrest is being conducted. They do not think that Wontumi is above the law, that he shouldn't be arrested or he shouldn't be prosecuted. But the manner in which it's being done suggests that we don't have a democracy and all of that. If Wontumi was running away, yes, but look at this. Look at this man agitated, shouting and talking. I was monitoring the Metro TV coverage. Yeah, that's the MPP third vice chairman, national third vice chairman of the MPP. He is completely overwhelmed. Is he not the same guy who pushed the microphone away some time back? Yes. He's a very agitated guy. He's a very strong man. And I think he's addressing the camera. He wanted the things that he's saying to get into the camera. So we have to get the latest on what is happening with Chairman Wontumi. More party people are thronging, MPP party people are thronging to the office of Iyoko. The office of Iyoko is at the High Street, Accra, near the office of Shraj. It used to be the serious fraud office here near Shraj, and it is now the Iyoko office. You can see the soldiers and the policemen massing up over there and creating all of these issues that kind of make you think that we have a democracy deficit, which we certainly don't have. After 30 or so years of practicing this democracy, why are we having these issues, which is akin to military takeovers, it's akin to civil war breakouts, and it's akin to all of these things? Thankfully, some members of civil society are arguing against these things, and it really shouldn't be. We don't know how long Chairman Wontumi will be kept there, but he's there now, and the policeman here, you can see in the Iyoko accoutrement, is explaining to the people why they have to keep Wontumi. There's a back and forth going on. It's not that healthy. Is that Titus Glover? Yes, I think I can see Titus Glover in the video. He's a former member of parliament for the Tema Central constituency. He's now on the cards trying to become the MPP's national organizer, and so he rushed there to sort of deal with these matters. I mean, this is not that good. This is not that good. I'm not sure why they are doing that. You can always get Wontumi into a court and you can prosecute him and all of that. But it's 10 minutes to the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. Wow. That's the Chairman Wontumi story. And our reporter is there. He'll be giving us a phone call sometime soon for us to get the latest, very, very latest on the Iyoko situation. All right. Let's have a look at this one as well so that we get out of the way and we get to the main story for Lawyer Bafo to come into the studio. This weekend, there was a big banter. This weekend, there was a big banter, isn't it? Godfrey Dame on the right-hand side of your screen and Thaddeus Osori on the left-hand side of your screen. We saw it. Thaddeus Osori wrote something quite long and it was quite attacking of Godfrey Dame. Godfrey Dame responded. It was quite attacking of Thaddeus Osori. We looked at both letters and thought that, look, this is not very, very, very good. So we put up this flyer and said, guys, let's call a truce. Put our pens and swords down. These are two great lawyers. And we CC'd it to Ambrose Derry, Mahama Yarega, to Paul Adomotri, Justice Kulendi, and Tamaklo Eduji. That all of us should get together. We don't want two of our lawyers fighting. And why did we include Justice Kulendi? Because Justice Kulendi had occasion to say this about Godfrey Dame in the past. He says, in an uncommon but impressive, and for that matter, commendable turn of events, the Attorney General, referring to Godfrey Dame, and Minister for Justice, Principal Legal Advisor to the government, filed a statement of case on the 26th of July 2023, where, and he quotes, in the spirit of intellectual honesty, and after careful consideration, he expressed his substantial support for the views and positions canvassed by the plaintiff. This is Justice Yoni Kulendi writing something very beautiful about Godfrey Dame, Attorney General as he then was in 2023, and speaking about it. So we know that Justice Kulendi would have a good way to bring these two lawyers together. So this is Justice Kulendi in the middle, Godfrey Dame, one of his favorite men on his right, and Thaddeus Osori, who is almost like a brother to him on his left. And so we called on Justice Kulendi as one of those. Ambrose Derry is another man who can also help resolve some of these problems because Derry is also very close to Thaddeus Osori. Thaddeus Osori worked for Derry's law firm in the beginning. Those days, they used to be at the Bus Stop restaurant on the Ringway Estates for those who live in Accra. And I was frequently in that law firm almost every day. I was going there. And I would see Thaddeus Osori almost every day in those days. Thaddeus Osori used to live in Greater Estates. I lived in Teshunuwa Estates. And now we talk quite a bit. Even this weekend, I've spoken to him quite a bit. And so I thought that, well, it's not nice. It's not important. It's not. All of these people have something to contribute to the legal profession. They both have something to contribute to Ghana. They both have something to contribute to the constitutional development of our society, especially now that we are discussing constitutional amendments. It's not a time for good lawyers to be fighting among themselves. It's a time for good lawyers to bring their heads together and let's see how we can make Ghana work better. So here on Good Evening Ghana, we are saying that let's call a truce. Justice Kulendi is very much capable of resolving some of these matters. And so that's our conclusion for that. But I like the artwork. You know, my guys here, they are very good. These young people, they are so solid. I told my producer, Prekuda, can you put some artwork together within a very, very short time? See what he brought. Beautiful. This is just so nice. They have the red, gold, green. They have the handshake, Charlie. The guy who did the artwork, I owe you. I owe you Alewa. I'll buy you Alewa. Okay. All right, so that's our take on this one. Many people were calling me, have you seen that? Have you seen that? Have you seen that? Have you seen? Have you seen? Have you seen? I said, I've seen it all. Have you spoken to Godfrey Dame? I've talked to Godfrey Dame every hour. Have you spoken to Thaddeus Osori? Yes, every night I talk to them. So what are you saying about it? You see that Dame wrote to a pass, someone is there. You see how Thaddeus Osori finished him in the last paragraph? Another person comes, you see Charlie Dame finished the guy. Oh. I was listening to all of it. I said, that's not the way to go. That's not the way to go. Everything everyone said is true, but is that the way to go? That's not the way to go. Let's call a truce to Godfrey Dame and Thaddeus Osori. I don't know whether tomorrow they are going to be in court. Tomorrow, Godfrey Dame will be in court for sure. I don't know whether Thaddeus Osori is going to come with Attorney General, but if they will be there, I'm not sure whether I will be there. But if they will be there, it will be good. There will be a good time for them to have a handshake. And I'm guessing, I don't know who is going to be on the panel, but if Justice Kulendi is on the panel tomorrow, I hope that after the case, you call them into chambers and say, hey, you will stop the nonsense you are doing. Let's move on and let's build this country. Oh, why are you showing me Manasseh again? Good evening, Manasseh. Oh, this is very important. Alexander Afenyo Markin. one of the favorite people of all political parties of this time, is celebrating his birthday today. I don't know where the party is. He hasn't called me, so I'm not sure where the party is. But I'm guessing the party will be at the weekend because I know there's something happening at the weekend around him. So I'm thinking the party will be at the weekend. And I also know the venue, but I can't say it's his party. So if he hasn't called me if he hasn't asked me to say it, Afenyo, we love you. We love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. We love you dearly. Happy birthday, Honorable Afenyo Markin. From all of us at Good Evening Ghana, we extend our warmest wishes to you on your special day. Your voice in Parliament continues to shape national conversations. May the year ahead be filled with wisdom, good health, and new milestones. Alexander Afenyo Markin, on the day that Parliament opens for the second sitting, for the first sitting of the second meeting. Congratulations, Honorable Minority Leader, former Majority Leader. May you become Majority Leader again in the near future, Alexander Afenyo Markin. He has this infectious smile, and I really, really like his brain. Afenyo is a solid guy, no doubt about it. It's 1 minute past the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. Whoa! Honorable Tete, how are you? Happy are we, students of Presbyterian Secondary School. A black one is another day, full one. But this is the story. Okay, I thought we were going to start with the arrival of Professor Jane. Let's acknowledge that. So Ghanaians, we're all very excited to see that Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman arrived on the shores of Ghana sometime at the end of last week. I like the look on President Mahamad's face. You can see the genuine excitement. I'm not sure what they were talking about, but you can see the genuine excitement on President Mahamad's face. And every president will be excited to see the vice president back, with all the wild rumors about she's unwell. All of those rumors came up. So President Mahama in this beautiful photograph with Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman. I think this is beautiful. We are very excited that Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman is back in town. And we're also excited that the top hierarchy of the NDC faithful, let me name them, Capo Julius Deborah is on the screen, the far left. Valerie Sawyer is next, Alexander Segbefia, and Madame Esther Koba, Mr. Chikate's wife, Chachu Chikate's wife, are those that you see in this photograph, all applauding to something that I think Professor James said. And more photographs here, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman now being met by the president. Okay, so let's look at who are in this photograph as well. I don't know all of them, but I can see, of course, Valerie Sawyer, Alexander Segbefia, Kaisel Ato-Forson, Esther Koba, the Vice President, Her Excellency, His Excellency the President, Madam First Lady, Marietta Brew, Dr. Boama, who is the Minister for Defense. I believe this is the Minister for Transport, I think, Felix Kwachu Fusu, and my own mother, Auntie Faustina Nelson, formerly of the CPP. Auntie Faustina Nelson is a great politician with the NDC. And Sam the Brew Butler, one of my favorite people, Sam Brew Butler. When we were young, we read articles of Sam Brew Butler saying that he has a thick skin. And in those days, he was with the Ghana Football Association. Sam Brew Butler is a businessman. He used to represent the Arab Contractors, a very powerful Egyptian company, construction company in Ghana. Sam Brew Butler has done a lot for Ghana. I'm not sure why he has not written a book, but Sam Brew Butler, when he writes a book, please buy it and read it. He has a lot. He has a whole lot to share with us. So this is the entourage, very high profile, that welcomed Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman. So we are very, very grateful for this thing that God has done for us, bringing back our Vice President in this way and in this manner. Okay, now let's get to the controversies about Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. So Honorable Sami said that during the days of opposition, he maintained fire on Akufo-Addo. Fire on Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo said the presidential jet is gone on servicing, so I flew a plane from New York to Accra. Okudzeto had the amount of money. Everybody was sort of, Akufo-Addo shouldn't spend that kind of money just traveling. And then the matters became worse when defense minister went to parliament and apparently murmured something like, Akufo-Addo cannot even take a shower in the plane. He was not even speaking on the floor. I think he murmured it. When he was talking, people were, parliament, they heckle quite a bit. And they said that, oh, but the plane, he cannot even bath in it. And they said, hey, did you hear what he said? He cannot bath in it. He cannot bath in the plane. President wants to bath in the plane. Cartoons were developed out of it. I went to see the defense minister back in the day. I don't know, those of you what Good Evening Ghana will remember. I interviewed him in his office. I brought the tape. We played it. Try as they did, it was very difficult because the circumstances of the economy as it is today was quite difficult. Kenke had just approached 5 cities in those days. Everybody was angry. And then they heard that the president is flying some private jet and da-da-da-da-da. Ablakwa took advantage of it and milked it completely. He actually over-milked it until the point where he granted this interview to Adom FM. Have a look at the interview.
NDC banner nipa wodi animu no kofi fasa private jet now who are benuma you resign.
I'll resign because what
resign
why should I stay there? Me resign because the million is on principle and yet personal and yet say idea me time President Akufo-Addo and as I mean President Kudebi. It's the principle. It's about protecting the public purse.
NDC banner nipa wodi animu no kofi fasa private jet now who are benuma you resign.
I'll resign because what
resign.
Why should I stay there? Me resign because the million is on principle and yet personal and yet say idea me time President Akufo-Addo and as I mean President Kudebi. It's the principle.
Viewers. What shall we say to these things? This is Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa. He is not just any minister at all. Oh. Today he's the foreign minister and therefore he must have had a role to play in the decisions made by the government on how the vice president returns to Ghana. He's the foreign minister and also one of the great pets of the vice president. The vice president, and I say pet, I mean pet in quotes. The vice president really likes him because they work together at education. And the vice president has testified on Samuel Ablakwa many, many times. And he's a good guy. There's no doubt about that. But he's not just, you see how God works. You see, God can embarrass you. This is God embarrassing people. You are foreign. He's not a Greek minister. If he's a Greek minister there, he's sitting somewhere looking at his farm, doing planting for food and jobs and doing in kokon kiti and those things. And the vice president flies over his head and comes to Accra. Fair enough. But here you are, Minister for Foreign Affairs. Vice president goes to London, it's foreign affairs. Vice president is coming from London, it's foreign affairs. So right in the foreign affairs, right on his desk, he must have played a role in the decisions that were made to fly this luxurious private jet. We have no problem with that decision. We think it is correct. It's a correct decision. The vice president has been unwell. She's coming in. In fact, even if we still had the presidential jet, but it wasn't in the state as comfortable as can take somebody who is just recovering from some short illness, we shall still fly a presidential jet. How much is the flying the presidential jet for Ghana? Ghana's GDP is what? Flying the vice president who needs it. Needs it is the point. The vice president needed that. Why should we not do it? We should do it. But because of what Ablakwa said to milk people and to get power, that is why we are talking today. Otherwise, it is nothing. If this happens in other jurisdictions, it is zero. Because some of those politicians don't do what we do in Ghana. I always told you that Joe Garte told me that people don't respect politicians because of what politicians say about politicians. People think parliamentarians are thieves because of what parliamentarians... Have you ever heard an American congressman saying that another congressman who is in power is a thief? Have you ever heard a British MP saying that another MP in the government is a thief? They never say these things because they know that you can't prove it. So you shouldn't say it. They argue with them, they tackle them, but they never call them names like thief and crook and all that. But here in Ghana, because some people know that without that they cannot come to power, they cannot argue on the basis of what is happening and bring them to power, they always must take advantage of human feelings. Economy is difficult. Price of maize is high. Price of kenke is high. So the president is a thief. That is why the price of kenke is high. Cecilia Dapa is a thief. That is why you are broke. That's why the country is broke. Because Cecilia Dapa has stolen all the country's money and put in her house. 6 months into office, Cecilia Dapa has not been even questioned. That's a beautiful video of the vice president arriving. Oh, yeah, I like this video. I like this video. I like this video. Oh, that's President Mahama. You know, President Mahama is very calm. He allowed his wife to do the embrace and all of that. I think that's great. I think that's great. Let's get back to that Blackwa story. Let's get back to that Blackwa story. So this is Samuel Kujeto. He has played a role in this video that you just saw in getting the vice president in. He sat on radio because he wanted Ghanaians to look at him as a saint and therefore elect the NDC into power. He said, which he didn't have to say, that whenever he's in power, and he didn't even limit it to the president too. He said the president or the vice president does something like this, he will resign from the government, assuming that he will have a ministerial position. That's what he said. that he will resign. Now he's foreign minister, and he's the one who has given birth to this story. The story of Jenano Pokwa flying in a private jet to Ghana. Ablakwa said, if this happens, he will resign. Do I think he should resign? No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. He's a young man. Just started a foreign ministry. He has opportunity to make something happen. Why should he resign? I don't think he should resign. But he must have the presence of mind to come out and apologize to Ghanaians. Like Fifi Kwete did at the appointments committee. Ablakwa must apologize to Ghanaians. That I said it, I meant it then, but looking at the circumstances now, I shouldn't have said that. He should say it. He, Ablakwa of all people, should say. Otherwise, one day, he may find himself as foreign minister. He knows how to let Ablakwa himself fly a private jet into Kotoka International Airport. And he will wash his face and wonder whether he's dreaming. And he will not be dreaming. It is he, Ablakwa, who has flown. Do you remember Peter? When Jesus told Peter that you deny him, he said, you saw what happened. So Ablakwa should apologize. Otherwise, one day, God will make he Ablakwa himself, foreign minister. He will fly a private jet. He will forget. He will sit in the jet in New York. He will forget that he has said that. He will arrive and pictures will be taken. He'll say, but you are the one who said it. And when the Professor Jenna now what happened, you didn't even happen. Now you've done it yourself. These are the things we say about politicians. Learn how to talk. Don't over milk. Don't overtake advantage when you are in opposition. Be careful. Today I saw Franklin Kujo post something on Sam George. And he said, be careful what you say in opposition. I'm going to get to that as well. Sam George said so many things that if you play before him today, he has to dodge. He has to run away. So did Ablakwa. The desperation to get Akufo-Addo's government out of power without dealing with the substantial issues, but trying to deal with issues that will give you an advantage in opposition. Everybody in opposition can take advantage of it. I can organize a demonstration today that the dollar has gone down. Why is Kendi not going down? And then one day, a government will be in power. I'll be there. And they'll say, hey, Paul Adomoshe, you were the one who organized the demonstration that Kendi.
Cratchy, unemu bua unkoisha Dr. Ban uye denwa.
Oh, Mr. Yamfani come and me buru.
Mami do buru. Don't ya tell me ko bra. Mumi Yamfani ko Dr. Ban ho. Dr. Ban oya de. Bra, se pa no mpemu adwuma sasabro slow Dr. Ban oye.
Hey, say me kwada meka. Oh, no mpemu nimdi ono na ye expect nya zanfo no. O akra any Kumasi no mpemu expect yen kan kire o.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Avoiding injuries, easy. Winning, easy. But you know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water, then sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy, made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit's Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel Kids, happy smile.
Buy affordable service plots and lands from estate masters. Currently selling our next cottage, located at the newly proposed airport city, with a starting price of 25,000 Ghana cedis. We also have Palm Hills, located at Pamfukuro in the Gomwa East District, also with a starting price of 15,000 Ghana cedis. Available also is Coastal Park in Lakpleku, which is a 15-minute drive from the Ngo Senior High School, having a starting price of 55,000 Ghana cedis. You will receive a free site plan with indenture once you successfully purchase a land from us. For any enquiries, contact the numbers provided. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
You want to get polytan?
Oh, and you're right.
Go straight.
Oh, I want to left, right.
That's right. Ghana na ye wono. So when you do more, and ye data. Oh no! Abe, na here. Me pe polytan kato. Enu tin ta menu aba you to be aba na ba you. O food to be a e de entwa ye kura.
Akuya bulambo kotoman. Emu ha.
Like they take took my eyes. Came to me go to the distributor and you give the original polytan. Polytan. You get a sound?
Polytank, Papananka Sankasa.
After this fufu and pepper soup, I go score goals like them the dash points.
Kivo 100% natural hot pepper. Good for your jollof, stew, soup, shito, spaghetti, and noodles. Kivo hot pepper. Moko show.
I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 100% natural hot pepper. Champion taste.
This advert is FDA approved.
Food insecurity in West Africa isn't just a statistic. It's a crisis affecting millions, not because of a lack of land or talent, but because our food systems are struggling under the weight of conflict, climate change, and limited investment. On June 3rd, I had the honor of moderating the President's Roundtable 2025, hosted by the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, EBID. Under the theme Unlocking Food Security in West Africa Through Agricultural Transformation, we'll convene leaders, experts, and change makers for a strategic conversation, one that moves far beyond talk into action. From innovative financing to climate-smart agriculture, we'll spotlight real solutions and real commitments live on Metro TV. Now it's a defining moment for our region, so do join the conversation as well, live on DSTV Channel 277 and EBID's digital platforms. Let's move together from insecurity to food sovereignty. My name is Anita Erskine. It would be an honor to have you join us.
Sounded awkward for a port that is fully automated. And tonight on the edition of Good Evening Ghana, we ask, should Minister John Jinapor be interviewed by the National Investigations Bureau for causing fear and panic? The minister told us that containers have been missing, or that they have been stolen, or that they disappeared from the port. Everyone thought the story sounded awkward for a port that is fully automated and one that is one of the best in Africa. Today we woke up to hear from the same minister that the containers have been found. It sounds like Pilolo. We discuss the details. Also, CJ Tokono is complaining about the happenings at the committee. They won't let her husband in. They won't let her daughter in. and they will not hold down proceedings because of a writ of injunction. She has sued, and the action will be heard tomorrow. Now, CJ Tokonu does not even want to participate in an in-camera secret hearing because she does not trust the system. Might she have a case? Lawyer Bafo will be in the studio to help us understand all what is happening. Honorable Sami Okujeto Ablakwa has had some pressure on him to resign following the fact that the Vice President, Jenano Poku-Agyeman, flew back to Ghana in a luxurious jet after medical treatment abroad. Okujeto, instead of apologizing, has fed Ghanaians with a scandal in Ghana's embassy in the United States. We hear you, Honorable Minister, but will you apologize for misspeaking during the days in opposition? Also, this weekend has seen two major social media trends. The first is Godfrey Dame versus Tadio Sori on one hand, and the second one is even more serious. One Dr. Anne Sansa Deli. Is she really a doctor? Who does she work for? And why has she disenabled all her social media handles following the breakout of the information? Is it a case of things fall apart? A full discussion on all of these matters tonight on Good Evening Ghana. Welcome aboard.
Let's take a few text messages and then we get to the story. You hear the story about the Dr. Sansa Deli also. Apparently, she's been appointed on the board of the National... there she is. She's been appointed on the board of National Health Insurance. I'll come to the story in a minute on the touch screen. Let's now go to Fatima.
Thank you, Paul. So this is coming from Junior. And Junior says, when is Mr. Principal Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa going to resign from his position? Because we are paying his own videos for him, and Ghanaians didn't put those words in his mouth. He should do the needful as soon as possible. Now, Nana Kofi Jomo says the president uses his brother's private jet for international trips. Is this arrangement at a cost to the state or offered as a gift to the president? If it's a cost to the state, then taxpayers have a right to know the details. And if it's a gift, does it align with the president's own code of conduct and principles of transparency and accountability? Kwabena says they can't compete, Dame, that's why they are fighting him. Now, Rabiul Letra says it's fair to observe that the verdict regarding the removal of the suspended CJ is already written, waiting for publication. Yara says Wontumi called all this treatment upon himself and he should face his own consequences. Solomon Asante says we are appalled and outraged by the unjust, politically motivated arrest of our beloved Ashanti Regional Minister Bernard Enchi Busiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. This action by the NDC government is nothing short of an abuse of power and a desperate attempt to intimidate and silence the voices of the New Patriotic Party. Abdul Razak says, writing about the current situation in Ghana brings me great sadness. As a young man, I have faith in the beauty of democracy and the necessity to protecting it as well as Ghana. The NDC government's plan, which are overseen by President Mahama, are designed to prevent individuals from sharing their views in Ghana. Our democracy will be negatively affected by these actions. Criticizing the government for their actions in our country is a common practice, but the intimidation and harassment are excessive in our country as I write this. The government ought to stop using political motivated national security to intimidate innocent Ghanaians for simple criticism of the government. Mr. President, I'd like to ask for straightforward questions. Are we not entitled to speak with freedom as Ghanaians? Mr. President, we expect you to uphold the rights of all citizens, not just your party members. You want the vote to be the protector of everyone. And lastly, coming from Yao Ferbi says, apart from the article and clauses for the removal of the Chief Justice, she has the right to be probed in the public by the committee. The Chief Justice complained of injunction against the committee at the Supreme Court. Her report of not being fair for not allowing her nuclear family at the premises and the president not giving her what entails in the prima facie is the reason for biasness in the process to remove her. Now back to you, Paul.
Well, sad news reaching us indicate that Chairman Wontumi has been transferred from Iyoko, I guess because of the appearance of the crowd, to an unknown place. His lawyer doesn't know where he's been transferred to. This text came to me at 10:15 p.m. It's now 10:26. Came to me at 10:15 p.m. and he said that, Paul, please take note. Chairman Wontumi has now been transferred from Iyoko to an unknown destination with a motorcade of several pickups and other cars that have moved straight away from the Iyoko office. They got out of the Iyoko, turned right, and they sped away. Turn right means towards the Accra, the Kolebu area, and they sped away. I don't know what national security installation is there, but this is the latest. Chairman Wontumi has been moved from Iyoko because the party people are massing up and they are making noise, and I think that's worrying the police. And a number has been sent to me to dial for the details. Let me send the number to my producer so that he can dial the Chairman Wontumi's lawyer. Wow, this is getting very, very Rambo style and very interesting. Producer, I've sent the number to you. Please dial and get us the information. Sorry, show you one take on my phone. It's going to come on your phone very soon. So they've turned towards the Kolebu place. So I don't know whether they are going to hospital. I got another text that says that Apia Kubi says that they are taking him to hospital. Okay, all right. Let me apologize to you viewers for the cut of the program when I was talking about that Blackmailer thing. Some people believe it's political. Well, somebody's hand just pressed the button here in our technical room. So we are sorry about that. We apologize for that. We are back on the show, and we have the Blackmailer story. What was it saying now? Okay. George, I've seen your text. Thank you very much. Now, this is the conversation. This lady is on social media. Is making the rounds on social media. Her name, as she puts out, is Dr. Ann Sansadeli. Now, there's a document. The Ghana Medical and Dental Council had an inquiry. I'm not sure why the inquiry was done, but somebody sometime this year wrote to the Ghana Medical and Dental Council asking whether this lady was a doctor. The Ghana Medical and Dental Council answered in the very strong negative that she is not a doctor at all. She had been seen on posters with President Mahama sometime last year doing an event. I have seen the posters. I've sent it to some important people that this is the problem going on. She's not a doctor and she was with President International Women's Day, something like that. So that story has been running. Okate shared it quite a bit, I understand, yesterday. And it's been running around. I think she's deep in social media and socialite. She does quite a bit of videos and presents herself as a doctor. It is said that she's not a doctor at all. This is a story on Modern Ghana says, fake medical doctor on GH1 TV exposed. Apparently, she has a television program on the television station, and she presents herself as a doctor. She talks to people about medicine. She talks to people about prescribing drugs and all of that. We are getting more of the story. We'll deal with it on Thursday. On Thursday, we'll come with a big full throttle on this one because this somebody is a fake lawyer, somebody is a fake doctor, somebody is a fake architect that young people do. Maybe we have to get a psychologist to explain to us why will a young person present herself as a doctor, something she's never studied, something she doesn't know anything about, and then she says she's a doctor. There are also those who may be physician assistants. They say they are doctors, they say they are nurses, they say they are doctors. But this one has absolutely very little to do with medicine. Absolutely almost nothing at all. And she's an American citizen, and as well as a Ghanaian citizen. She lives in America. So people then decided that they're going to write to the American institutions of medicine. Again, the results came that she's negative. But this is the big story. Before we get into the details, this evening, she's been appointed by the government of President Mahama onto the National Health Insurance Board. Now, this is the story. The Minister of Health, Dr. Minta Akando, has sworn in the new board of the National Health Insurance Authority. Inaugurated in Accra on Tuesday, 27th May 2025, the board is expected to play a critical role in steering the NHIA towards greater efficiency, financial sustainability, and equitable healthcare coverage for all residents in Ghana. The 17-member board, 17-member board is chaired by Lawrence Ni Okante Ajete. I'm sure he'll be receiving a lot of applications. The members include Dr. Kwaku Awuno-Williams, representing the Ministry of Health, Dr. Alhassan Idrisu from the Ministry of Finance, and Francesca Atuluk from the Department of Social Welfare. Other members are Professor Samuel Kaba Akori, representing the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Abiba Sakari from the National Insurance Commission, and Dr. Bernard Na Hoffman from the Social Security and National Insurance Trust. It also includes Dr. Sadat Bawa, representing the medical and dental profession. So Dr. Sadat Bawa must have a lot to explain about why. Okay, let's move on. Dr. David Tete for the pharmacy profession and Mohammed Adamu Ramadan, MP, representing the accountancy or finance profession. Legal expertise will be provided by Dr. Divine Indombi Banyubala. Then Dr. Ann Sansadeli and Dr. Zaneto Rawlins also serve on the board. Now, Ann Sansadeli is said to be is not a doctor here in Ghana at all. The Ghana Medical and Dental Council, I'm sure some of you who watch social media, you've seen the document going around. Today, we don't have much time, but we are indicating it to the government that, please, if this is true, she can be on any board she wants, but she should not be described as a doctor. You can't describe her as a doctor when she's not a doctor. Apparently, there are a lot of videos. We have our researchers. They've done the story. They research on all of that, including her social network and what she does and who are her accomplices, who are her partners. We're going to bring all that to you. I think this morning, a report was being made to the CID. Other reports are going all over the place. And then in the middle of that, she's sworn in. So when these stories were going out, we were also looking at the stories. Then suddenly, she deleted her Facebook page. Deleted her Instagram page. Some people felt that she wanted to run away, so they made a report to the authorities at the airport. They are looking at it. They say she's still in Ghana as of today. She's not going anywhere. It's getting very murky. Today, I know people call people in New York to go and get the document and then speak to the consulate. All of those issues going on. At the same time, the Ghana embassy was closed by a Blackmailer opening on Thursday. We don't know whether there's any relationship with that. We don't know. But this is the story. We cannot allow that to happen to our Ghana and our children. Somebody comes and says, I'm a doctor, it's not a doctor. We hear that all the time. And it's prosecutable. It's a prosecutable offense. She actually presented herself in a hospital at Spintex Road, presenting herself as a doctor and dealing with patients. So all that record is there. And I think that this should be dealt with. Whether it's NDC, MPP, it doesn't matter. Whether she's MPP or she's NDC, it doesn't matter. This is fraud. If it is true that she's not a doctor, it's complete fraud. We'll get to the story. Today, we don't have much time. We have to deal with the Chief Justice. We'll get to the story later. Let's move on. Let's move on onto my friend John Jinapo. Abdullah Jinapo. How are you, sir? How are you doing? Now, I feel sorry for him. There's a minister who came and said that containers have been missing, trying to show that the government his predecessor government was corrupt. And that's the language of the campaign. Language of the campaign is that MPP is corrupt. Akufo-Addo's government is corrupt. They take them out. So when they come in, they want to show that the government is corrupt. So one of the things he said, which I believed, was that the containers are missing. When he said that, I asked people that, do you have a number for Dubik Mahama? Oh, what's this for? Please. Why? Okay. Yeah, let's start again, please. Let's be careful. So this is John Jinapo. I'm starting again, Madam. I'm starting again. This is Abdullah Jinapo, the Minister for Energy. This is not his first time as energy. He used to be Minister for Power, and now he's Minister for Energy. It's not his first time. So he should be quite experienced. But as I'm saying, the campaign was run on corruption, which is fair. MPP is corrupt, and so we take them out and we bring a new government. So when the new government came in, they were always in a hurry to show the corruption that they had alleged during the campaign was right. The corruption that they had alleged during the campaign was right. And then, and so he then held press conferences and said that their containers, ECG, containers that belong to ECG, that has ECG accoutrements in it, had been missing. He also alleged that what ECG people were doing and the MPP is that when the containers come, they refuse to clear it, and then it's given to a private person, and then ECG goes behind to go and buy the things from the private person. Things ECG has imported, say meters or some accoutrements, it comes to the port. ECG clear, they don't clear it. This is what he said, or this is a story that came out, a narrative. And then they go and a private Chinese man goes to buy it, or Indian man goes to buy it. Buy the containers from the port, because the port is disposing of the containers. They can't keep them forever. 2,000 and over containers. They can't keep them, so they're disposing of it. And then when they dispose of it to a private person, ECG then goes to a private person to buy it. It looked dealt with, and they were MPP people. All of us believed it. I believed the story when he put it out. So I called for the number of Muhammad Dubik, and I asked him. He said, do you have time, Paul? I said, I have time. He said, come and let me explain to you. So I went to see him. He told me, I said, is this the matter, Dubik? He said, this is the matter. I said, so what John Jinapo says? He said, it cannot be true. I said, why don't you then do interviews? Why don't you go on interviews? He said, can I come on Good Evening Ghana? I said, not yet. Do interviews on the Akan radio stations, because people need to understand this a lot before we can do Good Evening Ghana. So then he was on Asempa. I heard him, he spoke well. He said, containers have not gone anywhere. People started doing cartoons with their containers, putting wings on the containers. Containers have flown away, blah, 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 blah. Dubik, you've been vindicated, eh? You've been vindicated. You've done well. The containers, the process is found. Let's get back to Jinapo's trajectory and let's see what happens in the trajectory. So this is 29th March 2025. Jinapo demands forensic audit over missing ECG containers. The Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Jinapo, has revealed procurement breaches and potential corruption within the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, following the discovery that over 1,300 containers meant for the power distribution have gone missing from the Tema port. Everyone did not believe the story because Tema is an automated port. Tema is one of the best in Africa. How does 1,300 containers go missing and Gapoha does not know where the containers are? It sounded like Pilolo, as we said in the thing. It sounded like a cock and bull story. How? A container, 1,300 of them, they've been missing from Tema Harbor and we can't find it. And it's MPP people stole it. That's what the Minister of State said. Minister, sworn in, taking the oath. Minister of Ghana, he said that the containers have gone missing. He was able to say that because he's enjoying goodwill. They won an election, and so everything they say will be swallowed hook, line, and sinker. And I did swallow it hook, line, and sinker. Then comes 27th May 2025. So Jinapo sets up a committee with taxpayers' money. Sets up a committee, a so-called forensic audit committee, to audit where the containers have gone. The Gapoha does not know where the containers have gone. We need to set up a committee and pay them more money to find out where the containers have gone. For the committee to go and ask Gapoha that where did the containers go. For Gapoha to tell the committee that this is where the containers went. And that has to be paid for by taxpayers' money. Will people have questions to answer tomorrow? I don't know. But these are some of the things we do in government, whether it's MPP or NDC. It is crass. What is this? Gapoha is sitting there, huge, big institution. You are a minister. You cannot call the Gapoha directors and ask them that where is the container. You set up a committee to do a forensic. Oh my goodness. Anyway, Ghana, my happy home. 2,600. It says now he said 1,300. This one says 2,637 missing ECG containers traced at Tema Port. Investigation reveals. Investigators have traced 2,637 unaccounted ECG containers at the Tema Port. Chief of Staff orders evacuation and Energy Minister directs procurement reform amid ongoing investigations. So they found out that the containers were at the Tema Port. But that's the only place the containers will be because the containers don't have wings. They cannot fly. So minister says, I can't find them. And then the committee says, we can find them. They are not actually 1,300, they are 2,600. Okay. And then on 27th May, today, minister comes back, missing ECG containers. 2,300, twice the number of containers presumed to have gone missing, retrieved. Retrieved from where? Who should pay for this? It is dereliction of duty on the part of the minister. Dereliction of duty. That's what has happened. Why are we doing this to ourselves? You're a minister, run your show and do your work and put the lights on and deliver it, and Ghanaians will applaud you. Ghanaians are no longer MPP and NDC. They are common sense. Ghanaians have stopped being MPP and NDC. They are about common sense. Let's do the common sense work. So there are NDC people who are angry with John Jinapo tonight. They've called me. NDC people said, what's the minister doing? What's the minister doing? The other day, I heard Mugabe Mase, my friend, talking about John Jinapo on his thing. He's a proper NDC guy. So what is Jinapo doing over there? He's wasting our time. Every day he's complaining and he doesn't put the lights on. There are NDC people who are genuinely upset with these pillow games that we are playing with a country that is nearly 70 years old. 70-year-old country, we play these pillow games as if we are children. The containers are missing. I set up forensic audit. From Gapoha, because you have power and you have police and you have BNI and you have national security, you think that you are protected. Tomorrow is pregnant. I'm really sorry for Jinapo. I feel very, very sorry for him. Anyway, leave it there. 20 minutes to 11. We have to get onto the big story. Let's see what the Chief Justice is asking the courts to do tomorrow. Dominic Ayini and Godfrey Dami are going to lock horns at the Supreme Court building tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. You should be there to see the panel of 5. We don't know the panel yet, but I'm sure we'll find out in the morning when we get in. They usually do not announce the panel. But what is the Lord Chief Justice asking? This is the first time she's bringing an action in persona in all of these impeachment problems. She's asking for a few things. She says, 1, she has not been informed of the allegations in respect of which the prima facie case has been made. neither has she or her lawyers been shown the prima facie determination by the Council of State to enable her legal team prepare for the hearings. That's very interesting and that's very important. They are not even communicating with her. They are charging her and they are not telling her what the charge is. It reminds people of the kangaroo trials of the 1979 J.J. Rawlings affair, where you go and sit in a Buri Peduase Lodge, which is also a national security installation, and then you have some screens. You don't see the one asking you questions, and they ask you questions like, how many girlfriends do you have? You're a military general. How many girlfriends do you have? The number of girlfriends you have determines the extent of corruption. You say you don't have any girlfriend. They say, what about Auntie Yata at Adabaka? You think we don't know Auntie Yata at Adabaka? You are General Akufu, you are General Champon, you are General Amedome, you are General Ayabuachi, and you have to answer these questions. You don't answer the questions, it's a secret trial. They finish with you, they make a prima facie, they condemn you, and they take you to the range, and they shoot you down to death. This is what they were doing, and this is what they are doing again. I hope this is not that. I sincerely hope this is not that. But how do you bring a Chief Justice and you say you have made a prima facie? Show her that this is the prima facie that was made against you. It's 18 pages. Go and read it. And your lawyers can respond and we deal with it. They won't show her that. But there's more. The committee fixed dates for hearing and did not even inform the counsel of the CJ, the lawyers for the CJ, though they were present. The committee refused to grant her or her lawyer's audience, claiming that her lawyer isn't known even though the committee itself served the processes on the same lawyer in its capacity as counsel for Justice Tokonu. Now, on the first day of hearing, which was last week Thursday, Mrs. Tokonu did not attend the hearing, but her lawyers did. They said that they will not see the lawyers, even though the committee had written to the lawyers. They said they will not see the lawyers, and she's complaining about that before the Supreme Court tomorrow. But there's more. Ooh, sorry. Oh, sorry, viewers. Uh-oh. Okay. Her legal team and herself were denied the opportunity to use phones or laptops or any devices during the hearing, despite the fact that the legal team of the petitioners had access to their phones and laptops. Now, why should that happen? Why should that happen? You've asked her to come for a hearing. She's the subject matter of a petition. She has her lawyers with her. They have their phones. They are texting. They are looking at it. You say, no, you can't bring your phone. Because they are doing everything to make sure the outside world doesn't get to know what is going on. And that's why she has important decisions to make. Mrs. Tokonu has very important decisions to make. Because if you go in and you see the whole thing, and it looks like they do not want the outside world to hear, and we are saying all of this based on the evidence that Mrs. Tokonu is supplying to us. We were not there. But this is the evidence that she's supplying to us, and we believe her. That she goes in there, and they do not let her and her legal team have access to their phones. If it's a general rule that all lawyers and participants in this meeting cannot have access to their phones, that's okay. But when she sees that the people who have petitioned against her are having their phones and their laptops, but her lawyers, no, they say you cannot come in with your husband, you cannot come in with your daughter, you can't come in with anyone. They search her thoroughly before she gets in. I'm not sure what they are worried about. And then because they also don't want her to tape record. What are they worried about? The thing coming public and people hearing it? What are they worried about? If you are doing the right thing, the light shines on these things, it's not a problem. If you are not doing anything wrong, you are not concerned about the light shining. Look how many lights are in the studio here. Because we are not doing anything wrong. So then let the light shine. Let the light shine. Let people see it. What's wrong with that? And then you come number 4. It says, the spouse and children of the CJ Tokonu were denied entry to the sitting, and she was subject to searches of her person because they wanted to be sure she doesn't have a recording device. What is the recording? What are you worried about? She should record everything she wants to record and play it. Because you are the committee, Justice Gabriel Puaman is chairing. He says that, yes, committee members, Mr. Chikata, do you have a question for the subject matter? Mrs. Tokonu, can you get ready for cross-examination by Mr. Chikata on the petition? That's as simple as that. Why shouldn't the general public hear about it? Why? Why shouldn't the general public hear? Then she says here as well, the hearing is taking place at a high security zone and premises of the Osu Castle. Into brackets, we put the bracket there, a building considered to be the extension of the executive arm of government being premises of the national security installation, when such an Article 146 proceedings have all been held at the court complex. This is a judicial inquiry. This is a pseudo-judicial trial, isn't it? And so why are you holding it at the Osu Castle, national security, when the courts have plenty places to hold it? And then this one, the petitioners are not being made to testify against her, and hence she and her lawyers won't be given the opportunity to cross-examine them. So those who have made the petition, this is the bad part. The person who has done the petition, His name is Daniel Ofori, or his name is Paul Adomochi. I have petitioned that I want Justice Tokonu removed. I've petitioned to the president. I want Justice Tokonu removed. The president proceeds with the Council of State to make a prima facie. The prima facie is established, and therefore the committee starts working. I, Paul Adomochi, the petitioner, is told that you don't need to come. It is a sine qua non. It is essential that the person who wrote the petition must appear before the person he's accusing in the court. And then they come and say that you, Paul Adomochi, did you write this petition? My Lord, I swear on the Bible. Yes, I wrote the petition. Okay. Did you write paragraph 1? I wrote paragraph. Read paragraph 1. Paragraph 1, Justice Tokonu is misbehaving at the Supreme Court. Okay. Justice Tokonu's lawyer say, when you say misbehaving, what do you mean? And then they cross-examine me so that the committee is hearing. And then the committee can make their decision. But for you to boldly say that the petitioner should not attend the petition so that the accused person does not have the opportunity to confront the petitioner, what kind of law is this? Is that what the 1992 Constitution is about? Could that be what the 1992 Constitution is about? Need I say more? Barrister at law, solicitor of the Supreme Court of Ghana, also called to practice in England in the courts from Lincoln's Inn. Lawyer Balfour, Member of Parliament for Mensha, is here to tell us the latest. But Lawyer Balfour's presence here is significant for one reason. The last time you came here, you talked about why there should be a regulation for the president to extend the prima facie situation. That there should be a regulation so that everybody knows what happens. Today, in Parliament, Mahama Yariga seems to be suggesting something like that. What did the majority leader say?
So the majority leader, in announcing...
That's a flyer from City News. It says, government to introduce new rules on removal of superior courts of justices. Why are they introducing new rules?
Because it is an inherent admission.
And the Bar Association also made that point. Yeah.
Article 146 in its form cannot be operated without a regulation.
Except by a judicial officer?
No. I'm saying in its current form.
Oh, in its current form.
In its current form, you are looking at, yes, except by a judicial officer as provided for by Article 296C, right? But we are saying that, Paul, let's even take the grounds, right, for which a superior court judge or a chief justice may be removed. Stated misbehavior. What is stated misbehavior?
Coming to work late every day.
Can you imagine? Look, someone working at Metro TV, if the person is fired for a reason which is not provided for in your employee's manual, that would be unlawful termination.
Yeah, to be abused.
Yes. Now, that is even a contractual relationship, right? A labor, an employer-employee relationship. Now, we are looking at the Constitution. If you take the Constitution of Ghana, anytime a person has had to be punished for one reason or the other, the person must know, right, ahead of time, the definition of that offense, okay, the ingredients of that offense. If you look at the Constitution of Ghana, right? But in this particular case, nobody knows, very respectfully, with all humility to the people of Ghana, I don't mean to offend their sensibilities, nobody knows the animal called stated misbehavior. And so if I come to office as a Chief Justice and, you know, I'm fond of wasting even stationaries, somebody tomorrow might say, that is stated misbehavior. Because what amounts to stated misbehavior is not known. So now, an obligation is placed on the committee to now determine what is known as stated misbehavior. So they are exercising a discretion, which is not even limited, because it is not defined by any law. And it is so dangerous for proceedings which is even supposed to be in camera. Which in and of itself doesn't even have a regulation as to what should be done by way of a step-by-step approach, right? So they go in and decide what should be the procedure for the whole proceedings, right? And so fundamentally, you cannot operate Article 146 without a regulation. It is inconsistent with the whole philosophy of our constitution, which is to ensure accountability and transparency. You cannot.
But let me ask.
Paul, wait, please, oblige me. You see, there are two different forms of prima facie. Prima facie, when you go to the police station and make a complaint, the police officer looks at the complaint and determines whether, in fact, you've committed an offense under Article 19, Clause 11 of the Constitution, which is that a written, you've offended a written law. The offense is in writing, and the punishment for which is also in writing. Okay? Now, when the police officer serves you notice of the offense, he tells you the offense for which you are standing trial for, and then provides you with a brief summary of that offense. When you go to trial, that is prima facie, because he determines that there's a prima facie offense. When you go for trial, when you are being prosecuted in court, and the prosecution closes its case, right, it is for the court to determine whether there's a prima facie case against you. And the court will tell you why there's a prima facie case against you. In this particular...
And therefore compel you to open your defense.
And compel you to open your defense. Otherwise, you go to jail. You'll be convicted and sentenced.
But if the court determines that there's no prima facie, what happens?
It says that there's
even after the prosecution have made their case.
It says that there's no case to answer. There's no case to answer. But in this instance, the Chief Justice is standing, if you like, trial. Is going through these disciplinary proceedings or impeachment proceedings with a prima facie having been established. And she doesn't even know which of the offenses, which of the complaints brought against her, that the prima facie has even been established.
That's serious.
That is very serious.
If she's telling us the truth.
Yes, it's very serious. Because, Paul, you see, it is not about justice.
But hold on, let me ask you about the Constitution, the framers of the Constitution. Is it not true that where the framers of the Constitution wanted regulations to be established, they said so? For instance, the Constitution set up the Commission of Shraj, and they said that Parliament will take steps to do that. Parliament will take steps to do that. No. Where they haven't said it, should we not assume that they didn't intend it?
No. If you look at the Constitution, it would say that Parliament would pass a law, which is in the form of an act.
An act, yes.
When it has to do with the regulation, 296C will talk of a guideline in the form of a legislative instrument or a constitutional instrument.
Yes, but 296 hasn't said that about 146.
No. It refers to where you are exercising a discretionary power.
Like the Electoral Commission.
Like the Electoral Commission. And even in this instance, you are exercising a discretionary power.
In 146?
Yes.
Who is exercising the power? The President or the Council of State?
The President and the Council of State. They are exercising a discretionary power in determining
because it says the President may suspend her.
Apart from that, what amounts to misstated misbehavior is discretionary. Because you have a set of facts. Nobody has given you a definition as to what amounts to a stated misbehavior. You now have to determine, right, what amounts to a stated misbehavior. In fact, if you look at the report, the Ghana Bar Association, right, versus Attorney General, the Urban case, Justice Pega said something that was very instructive. He said that when you look at the qualification for appointment as a superior court judge or a chief justice, proven integrity, right, competent, and so on, competence, and so on and so forth. The Constitution doesn't even tell us, right, what amounts to proven integrity or competence, right? It is for the President and the Council of State to decide, acting together. Okay. Now, in the same token, in determining what amounts to stated misbehavior, it is for the two of them to decide. Paul, is it fair that I work as a Chief Justice or a Justice of the Superior Court, okay, and I am likely to be removed for stated misbehavior, but I don't know what amounts to stated misbehavior?
So the regulations that you're asking for, and the Mahama guy is saying they will do, will now indicate and
will define what amounts to stated misbehavior.
To narrow it down?
To narrow it down.
So that people know whether they are doing misbehavior?
Out will spell out at what point will a lawyer called to the bar for several years standing, who has been appointed as a judge, will now be said not to be competent. You understand? So there's this whole proceedings and Article 146, in my humble view, or you cannot operationalize it without a regulation.
Let me break and answer viewers' questions here. Now, we are hearing that the latest on Chairman Wawun to me, because my producer called a lawyer, he says that Chairman Wawun to me requested for medical assistance. I don't know what happened to him, but he requested for medical assistance. Upon that, he was driven to the bank hospital. But they said they were taking him to the bank hospital. But they went to the bank hospital to search for Wawun to me, and he was not there. He said Wawun to me requested for medical assistance, and they claimed to have sent him to hospital. From the direction that they gave us, they may have gone to Kolibu rather than bank hospital. But if they were told to go to bank hospital, which is in the cantonment area in Accra, they went there, but he was not there. But they don't know exactly where he is now. Because the reason why Wawun to me was moved out of Iyoko was that he asked for medical assistance, and they told his people they took him to bank hospital. They've been to the bank hospital. Wawun to me is not there. We'll keep you updated on the matter. Yeah, lawyer,
so Paul, the point is that
this is the matter that's going before the Supreme Court tomorrow.
Yes. What is before the Supreme Court is for an order for the whole proceedings to be shown to be held in public.
Including that.
Including that.
But including also this one.
Yes. You see, I think that if we are not careful, I've heard people say, why is JUSAC not talking? Why is the Association of Judges and Magistrates not talking? There must be something they have against her. I would want us to look beyond Justice Tokonu and look at the office of the Chief Justice and the democracy of this country. There's a high propensity that if care is not taken, Paul, we are going to go on a slippery slope. Out of bitterness, anger, or hatred for certain persons, we may take certain actions that would, be to the disadvantage of our democracy. Look, today, you say that we've been vindicated because I called for a regulation. When Mr. Dubois, for instance, was arrested, and I said that, look, let's comply with due process of law. The public or media trial was not necessary, right? The Attorney General said on that day, for instance, that investigations have been completed, right? And that he should consider a plea bargain, okay? Subsequent to it, what happened? The Attorney General went to court and said that he should be remanded because he's likely to compromise witnesses, okay? That clearly tells you that he's contradicting his earlier position. Subsequently, he's supposed to do disclosure, and he's yet to do them. When we have called for due compliance with due process of law, we have not done so because somebody is our favorite, or we like somebody, or because we think the Chief Justice is going to be there to protect MPP. No, far from it. We want to ensure that the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana is enforced, is protected. It is not for today, it is for tomorrow. And we are guided by the history of this country, where people given power have the predisposition to abuse the Constitution, to abuse the fundamental human rights of people to have their way. And eventually, subsequently, they have been proven not to be right. And so we have to be guided, because unless we are guided, there is that high risk of abuse. The CJ is asking for a public hearing. Paul, let's look at the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. When you look at Article 146 of the Constitution, it's a special provision for the impeachment of justices of our Superior Court and the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. And so it's a special provision. Being a special provision, the fundamental question that confronts us, where, for instance, the Chief Justice's lawyer is inviting the court to consider other provisions and in the light of that, say that she's entitled to a public hearing, are we going to say that that is the position? Because the provisions on commission of inquiry is separate from the provisions of the impeachment of the Chief Justice. But Godfrey Dame, the former Attorney General, is saying that the definition of a commission of inquiry under Article 295 of the Constitution includes a committee of inquiry. And therefore, with the provision for impeachment under Article 146, right, should be considered also as a commission of inquiry.
And therefore what?
And therefore, the right to public hearing is available to the Chief Justice. This is what confronts the court tomorrow. But I'll raise a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when Anas did his expose on the judges?
Yes.
And he showed the documentary at the International Conference Center.
Correct.
You remember? The lawyers for Anas, my own friend, Nipapu Samoa, at the time a junior lawyer, went to the Supreme Court and said that by reason of Anas having shown the documentary at the conference center, and the documentary being at the heart of the petition, it was part of the proceedings under Article 1468 of the Constitution, which is supposed to understand in camera. In camera simply means secret hearing. Nobody knows what goes there. The Supreme Court said, yes, we agree with you. Article 146 should be looked at in its totality. When you look at it in its totality, then the secret hearing involves the petition itself. Okay? And so to the extent that it involves the petition itself, and to the extent that the Constitution mandates a secret hearing, then the showing of the documentary is unconstitutional. But this is the catch. The Supreme Court, that notwithstanding, stated that the unconstitutionality of their conduct did not invalidate the proceedings. Because there are two events that are supposed to truncate the proceedings. One being the determination of prima facie or otherwise. If there is no prima facie, then there's a truncation. And then the conclusion of hearing post the determination of prima facie. And to that extent, the viewing or the screening of the documentary at the conference center does not invalidate the proceedings. The effect, very respectfully, then is that if a breach of Article 1468, which is the in-camera hearing, if it is breached, and it will not invalidate the proceedings, then the argument will be, well, there's very little premium to Article 1468, and therefore it can be breached.
Because that's what the Supreme Court has held.
Yes. Therefore, it can be breached without any consequence on the integrity of the proceedings. Right?
But the Supreme Court can depart from that authority tomorrow.
It hasn't departed yet.
But tomorrow it has opportunity to do so.
Wait. Before you go there. The fundamental question that will confront the Supreme Court, if you ever make that argument, is whether or not the Supreme Court can be seen to allow a breach of a constitutional provision itself. In other words, you may breach a provision of the Constitution and it should not be an issue, right? As it was in the Anas case, to the extent that it didn't invalidate the proceedings. But the court, can they make a decision which would invariably mean that a provision of the Constitution is being breached? That is one question.
So that the argument is that the point Stokono is asking for, that I don't want an in-camera hearing. If the court were to accede to that, there will be suggestions from legal people, some legal people, that the Constitution is being breached.
It's being breached. Yeah. And the order to breach the Constitution will be coming from the Supreme Court. Because they would
but then the Supreme Court has done that before in the Anas case. They entertained.
That is the
They
question.
entertained the breach and indicated that this kind of breach does not invalidate the process. Did they distinguish between what kind of breach invalidates the process and which kind of breach does not?
That is why they said that there are two events that will truncate the process. And in this particular case, that breach should not truncate the process. In other words, it should not affect the validity of the proceedings.
What events did they say will truncate the process?
The determination of a prima facie case or otherwise. When it is determined that there's no prima facie case.
That will truncate the process. That's the legal translation of the
and then post-determination of
that the person is not guilty.
The hearing itself.
After the hearing.
After the hearing, it will truncate the process.
So these are the only two?
These are the only two. And so if you look at it from that perspective, then you can say that, well, the Supreme Court can give us a pass.
But they also said it in the case that you're referring to, that the viewing of the announced document was in the public interest.
That is not what they said.
Did he say that?
That's what they said. No, that's not what they said. They said that in other jurisdictions, the viewing, the breach, right, could have been punishable. They made reference to authorities in South Africa and so on and so forth. But there is the position of the law. We have to be careful not to be contemptuous, because there's a position of the law that no court can grant immunity for the breach of a statute or a constitution, a constitutional provision. So will the Supreme Court make an order which would effectively breach a constitutional provision?
What about the other leg of the conversation about the shall? That's also confronting the court tomorrow.
Yes.
That the use of the word shall is obligatory. Justice Atuguba has explained shall, I believe, in Election Petition 1, to say that is not always the case.
You see, 1468 has already been determined to be mandatory in a J2 versus Attorney General, reinforced in Derry. The consequence of a breach of 1468 is what we witnessed in the Derry matter.
Which is the Anas matter.
Which is the Anas matter. Now, that is where I'm saying that in the light of that, will the court now say that, okay, given that the consequence of the breach very respectfully would not affect the validity of the proceedings, are we ready to say that is one that can be overlooked?
And therefore grant her request for a public hearing.
Grant her request for a public hearing. But that is also coming up strongly against the position that will the court be ready to do anything that will come across as they themselves, by their order, are breaching a provision of the Constitution? It's a question that would...
Okay, that they giving an order to breach is different from they entertaining what has already happened.
Exactly.
Which was in the Anas case. The video had already been shown.
Exactly.
And they said, don't worry, we can go on. But now, a subject of the petition is asking that, I don't want shall to mean obligatory. Look at it and allow me in the public interest. And also in the interest of fairness, because of the matters that she's alleging that have already happened.
So, if you also recall, in the Anasis matter, when it came out that certain judges were corrupt, the popular notion was that the judiciary is corrupt.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so the conduct of one judge may affect the entirety of the judiciary. Okay. And that is where we need to advert our mind. Whether 1468 is a personal right or an institutional right.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Is this in the interest of protecting the judiciary, or is it in the interest of protecting the subject?
The subject.
For which reason the subject may say, I don't need that protection.
Exactly.
But the subject cannot speak for the institution.
Exactly.
Let's go to text messages, and we have to be leaving here. It's past 11 o'clock. And Fatima is our only social media editor on the table right now, because everyone is busy, isn't it? We are doing so much work. Fati, what are people saying?
Thank you, Paul. So this is coming from Samuel Ofosuba. And he says the inhumane treatment of the Mahama administration and the committee established by him to probe through petitions against Her Ladyship Gertrude Araba Asaba Tokono, Chief Justice, is fundamentally to torture her without a blatant cause. It's also a mockery of justice and a plot to unjustifiably expunge her from the office. Yao February says the constitution narrative the process of the removal of the Chief Justice, but silent on the rationale and what is in the prima facie. Also, it's silent on the guidelines for the committee to follow the probe the Chief Justice expects in camera. So, the President and the committee should be fair and circumspect in their discretionary powers. Said says the NDC never ceases to amaze even the weakest minds of all the Ghanaian public. After all, the hue and cry over missing containers of the previous management of ECG and the labeling of innocent persons as thieves, Napa thinks he can be left off the hook for all the lies and media trials. Master Planner Jr. from Kentampo says the politically motivated weak tactical agenda to remove the Chief Justice is a non-starter. It's clear that the President is the one behind all these frivolous petitions and plans to remove the Chief Justice. Ghanaians are watching very closely. Now, Said comes back to say, how low could this Mahama government get? A person is under public scrutiny for impersonation. She has been called out as fake medical practitioner, and the presidency, the Ministry of Health, finds such a dishonest character worthy of appointment to the NHIS. How cheap could this government be? And lastly, coming from Junior Akbar from Tamale, he says, whatever NDC are using national security to intimidate people, they should not think that they are going to be in power forever, and telling them for a fact that they should remember that last 7 months they were in opposition. They should remember that no matter how long they have been in power, they will surely go back to opposition. Now back to you, Paul.
Oh, yes. Okay. Lawyer, let's look at one last thing before. The issue about the petitioners not being asked, as she alleged, not being asked to come forward to talk about it. What do you make of that?
So, I think that they are trying to apply certain principles from adversarial litigation in there, where a party can make a complaint or can accuse somebody, but at the trial, the person may decide not to testify, but will bring in people to testify. I think we need to distinguish that from an impeachment or disciplinary proceedings. If a person makes an allegation against me, I should be able to confront that person, right, and test the person's allegations through the power of cross-examination for the veracity of that claim to be determined. I don't think that we should apply, the strict, if you like, rules of evidence, adversarial contest in our courtroom in that regard. And for me, it really exposes why Article 146 cannot be operationalized without a regulation, a well-thought-through regulation, particularly because it's an in-camera hearing, a secret hearing, akin to the historic kangaroo hearing that we have had in this country. In the absence of a regulation, I don't think it is proper. I've read things like, if it is true that the petitioners and their lawyers, the lawyers of the petitioners being given the opportunity to use laptops and phones, I don't think it is fair when they are being discriminated against by being deprived of similar rights. My brother, let me share a brief story with you, and we probably will end it.
Yeah.
I was once there when I was called by my partner at the time, Julio de Medeiros, your good friend, that a very good client of his had run or had knocked down a police officer who had attempted to arrest him, but the police officer was wearing colored, he was not in uniform. And so the guy didn't know the person was a police officer. And so I was called to the East Legon police station to go and have conference with the person. When I got there, there was a crack team of investigators that had come from the head office, the police headquarters, to interrogate the guy. When I got there, they said they were not going to give me the opportunity to even have conference with the gentleman. Unfortunately, they had lost one of their own, so they were supposedly very angry, and justifiably so. They were very angry. And I told them one thing which struck a nerve with them. That look at your own colleague. At the time, that was the time when DSP Tahuda was going through some trials and it was being captured in the media that she was being unfairly treated. So I told them that, look, if today, you deny this person the right to cancel, tomorrow you may have a similar situation like Tahuda and you may be denied the right to cancel. And that would make you unhappy. If we set the right standards, we don't know what is going to happen in the future. Today, it is Justice Tokonu. Tomorrow, it might be any other justice of our Superior Court who may go through this process, these proceedings. At that point, because we didn't do it for Justice Tokonu, we can't cry for you. There are people who today would constantly refer us to Madam Charlotte Osei and say, it didn't happen in Charlotte Osei's time. Why is it that you are complaining now? Yes, because we didn't cry for Madam Charlotte Osei, some of us may not have the moral right to cry for Madam Tokonu. But if we cry for Madam Tokonu today, tomorrow we'll be able to cry for you. So let's all come together and make sure that she has a fair trial, fair hearing, goes through a proper standard, proceedings which is in compliance with due process of law. So that even if she's found to be, she's found not to be innocent, or she's found to have committed one wrong or the other, warranting her removal, she'll go home satisfied with herself. That is the essence of due process of the law, which is why we are making constant demand for compliance with due process of the law.
I have to leave it here. It's way past 11. Thank you very much, Lawyer Bafo, and thank you, viewers, for watching. We'll be back on Thursday with another edition. My phone is buzzing with the National Health Insurance list of board members, including Sansa Delhi. We'll deal with all of that on Thursday. Thanks for watching. 17 past 11.
Thank you very much, Paul, for having me.
Good night.
The hospital.
Yes.
My sister, collapsed. Na me heart and kwana ye juma. Ye kukuru me, Kobe and I said me